No, that's great, Joe. And if you could, the one of the premises of the website is Catholic mental health resources is that there are other things besides therapy. So to turn to you as kind of an expert in human development or recovery outside of the counseling relationship, are there other things that you've found or that people have told you about that also have psychological benefits?
I think another thing I can add, is that for example, and this might piggyback on the last question too, something like depression. A lot of times I find something that gets missed when you're looking at the roots is um, number one, someone who is a creative person that is not doing their art. And as Christians, I think it's important that we come down philosophically on we believe there's a blueprint to the person that's God given, right? And that it's our job to understand what that is, excavate that. A lot of times, creativity, if it's ingrained into that and you're not doing it, it doesn't leave you alone, and it kind of turns around and can strangle you in a sense. I think creative people can talk about that experience. So that would be one thing that comes to mind on just the creative pursuit and just general areas for doing that and how you incorporate that in. I think a lot of times, even culturally, we say, well, that would be nice if you have time for that or can do that. Whereas for many people, depending on the personality and the person, it's vital that you do that. So that would be one that comes to mind there. I think another thing similarly to that would be some people that would gravitate towards a Christian counselor often have what seems to be a call to ministry that they're not listening to. They're running from it, and they're kind of saying, I don't know, either they don't feel worthy or they feel they would have to give something up. They'd have to give something of their self up in order to do it. But that can often be at the heart of things. So just any of the ways that we as Christians are in community and in ministry, and the roles that we can serve in there can absolutely, very much inform and sometimes be the solution to a lot of the things. Something like spiritual direction is very much something that people are either already engaged in or they've engaged in it, or that we would say let's try to have a scenario, or look, we're doing Christian therapy on this side. But again, that's another thing on the bounds. I'm not a spiritual director and I don't have the training and expertise there, but to plug into a priest or someone else, pastor that would do spiritual direction, that could be coming at it more from the spiritual side, less from the clinical side, but that those would inform and kind of feed off each other very well. I can think of many cases where that's been true. So those are some things. There are a lot of good ministries and a lot of good churches, and it's important for, again, to understand the importance of that for people that are already connected to those places, and also to suggest or talk with people about their own search for those if they're not connected as part of their process.
Well, Joe, this has been really instructive and uplifting, and I wonder if we can close with uh, anything that you found particularly inspiring yourself. Any people, anything in the world to give people hope or that gives you hope?
Absolutely. I first should say I'm inspired by my clients every day, not to sound too much like a Hallmark card here, but that put me to shame every day with their great strength and faith and so forth. And always it's this feeling of getting more than you give in a role like this. I love the saints, and I'm always drawing strength from the saints and readings from the saints. Mother Teresa is a big favorite of mine, and Saint Francis, are two big ones. I think Mother Teresa, just the humility there, and the number of quotes that she has. I love it when she says, the Lord never forces himself on anyone. That's the best part of God, that he's almighty, but he doesn't crack through and force himself on anyone. And that really speaks to the role of the person's will in their own healing and their own therapy, which is the mystery of God limiting himself by our will. And I think that's very important, that we come up against that in therapy very, very often. You're really limited by what the person is willing to do, so that's one for Mother Teresa. She also had, just a beautiful sense of the smallness of what she was doing, even though she was, operating on this grand scale. But really saying, people used to say to her, don't you feel discouraged that, you're doing what India should be doing, or, the political system? And she said, I don't really think about it that way. I can only help one person at a time. And really what I do, it's just a drop in the ocean, but if I didn't do it, it would be one thing less. So just that, I think that's something I think of all the time with all the issues in the world, certainly at this point in time, and all the things going on, that you help one person at a time and focus there, that, again, trusting that the Lord is going to take that and use that, and, for his will and his glory.
Well, I think that's a perfect way for us to end, because I know from hearing from many of your clients that you have helped many individuals one at a time to find their call, to find their inner creativity, to find peace of mind. And so I'm really grateful to you for making the time for us. I know it's a long day for you, so I'm sure you want to get back to your family. But Joe, we can't thank you enough for coming, and we wish you continued good luck in your wonderful ministry.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and every blessing to you. Thanks so much.
Take care.